mean, they're never crowded. Maybe at the baths, which is our biggest tourist attraction, you might find a group of people, but generally they're very, very quiet.
I'm pretty sure I remember that there's no such thing as a private beach.
No.
So you could, if you wanted to, go over to Necker Island and stand on the beach?
Well, you could, except that Necker Island is surrounded by coral. So if you've got a boat or if you chartered a boat, you're not allowed to take it over there because there's too much coral. Really, only the local boat drivers can find their way through the coral to get there.
I'm glad I didn't try that now then.
Yeah.
I would have got in trouble. Speaking of boats, when I was there I saw loads of them. Do you get more UK visitors chartering yachts than those who stay on land?
Yes, we have more guests everywhere chartering boats than stay on land because we have more berths on boats than we have beds in hotels.
Do people just go around your islands or do they go further afield?
No, not really. They tend to just stay with... We're very different to the US Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. So they do tend to stay in the British Virgin Islands when they're sailing with us. Also, British nationals cannot go into the US Virgin Islands on a private boat. So the only way that they could enter into the US by boat would be on a public ferry. So that if they were chartering on a private boat, they wouldn't be able to sail over there anyway from the UK. And we have, as I said, 60 islands, and you're never more than 2 hours sailing from your local, the nearest anchorage. You could stay 2 weeks there and still not get to see all of our islands. So why would you leave?
Why would you? That solves my next question then. It's not easy just to pop over to the US Virgin Islands then?
It is if you take a public ferry.
But not if you're a charter yacht?
No, you can't from the UK.
Very welcoming, isn't it?
What, the US?
Yeah, you can't mention that, sorry.
That's actually not true, because if they have a US visa in their passport, mm-hmm. then they can take a private boat in. But most British people don't have a US visa these days, because they just have the ESTA.
Yeah.
Yeah, for flying in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so need a visa.
But it's really different anyway, the US Virgin Islands. It's a totally different, it's very busy, lots of cruise ships, lots of shops, franchises. It's a whole totally different feel. So most people that are coming to holiday in the British Virgin Islands are probably sort of wanting to escape that rather than go to it on holiday.
Yeah. You're listening to The Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com. I always mention food when I talk to people about destinations. It's because I'm a vegan and I'm just missing all the stuff I used to eat.
Right.
Is there a national dish to the Virgin Islands?
The thing we're most famous for is our fish with mayonnaise sauce, mm-hmm. which is obviously no good to you being a vegan.
No.
But then we also have lovely local ground provisions, like plantain and callaloo and things like that, which you can get in all of the islands. But
yeah, we stayed at the Sugar Mill as well as the Boris Creek, and
okay.
that had one of the best restaurants in the Caribbean, I seem to remember at the time.
Yeah, they've got a lot of awards, actually.
Yeah. So do you have many top-notch restaurants?
We do. Yep, yeah. Absolutely. We've got a brand new one opened on Virgin Gorda called Coco Maya. Mm-hmm. Then we also have on Tortola, since you were there probably, Sugar Mill is still there and serving excellent food. Obviously, Boris Creek, as you know, is renowned for its food. But we've got Coco Maya on Virgin Gorda, and we've got the Dove and Brandywine Bay on Tortola, which are also really famous for outstanding food.
Do you have a favourite place when you're around?
A favourite place to eat?
Yeah.
Where's my favourite place to eat? I really like to eat local food when I'm there, so I tend to be round with friends. But if I'm out for local foods, there's a supermarket in Tortola called Bobby's, and I like to go in there and for like $6 get a takeaway of lots of different choices. There's also a wonderful little local restaurant on Virgin Gorda called Sugar Apple.
Yep.
And the food there is incredible, but you have to get there early at lunchtime or it's all sold out. And then if I'm really pushing the boat out and want to have a fabulous, expensive night out, I would do the Monday night seafood buffet at Little Dick's Bay.
So that's all your secrets out now?
Yeah, but you don't eat anything all day because it is incredible.
That'd be no good for me. I can't go a couple of hours without having a little chew on something. So we've covered the food and the boats. What else should a tourist do when they're out there?
We'll go to the baths. Everybody comes to the baths. They're incredible. These massive boulders, taller than buildings. Did you do that when you were there?
I didn't, no.
Okay, these huge, gigantic boulders where the sun comes through the top and the ocean comes through at the bottom, hence the reason they're called the baths, because it makes these little pools of water. and they are incredible and something not to be missed. And that is the only place that you would ever sort of draw a crowd, because pretty much everyone that goes to BVI makes sure that they go to the baths.
Yep.
But there's also some beaches that people don't even go to that I love, like Spring Bay on Virgin Gorda, which is gorgeous and also has many of these boulders. Little hideaway places, little beaches in the North Sound, where you can just fit 2 people and literally just take like a little dinghy and go and, hang out there and just be there by yourselves for the day. Gorda Peak on Virgin Gorda, absolutely incredible. You climb to the top of that and you can look down over the whole of the North Sound, out to Necker Island as far as Anegada.
I got halfway.
Oh, did you?
It's too hot.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's well worth the hike. There's also Anegada is amazing. Most people don't get to go out there, but I would say to anybody staying in a hotel in Virgin Gorda, jump on a day trip and go there, because it's absolutely beautiful.
Is there any nightlife to do as well?
Nightlife, in Spanish Town in Virgin Gorda, you'll find things going on. There's the Rock Cafe and Sam's Piano Bar. That goes on until quite late. And then over on Tortola, obviously being the capital island, you can find things going on in Road Town late at night. But most of the hotels, close down relatively early. People tend to get up early in the Caribbean and get out and do things. But the Bitterend Yacht Club in North Sound has lots of fun things going on. They have music 3 nights a week. They have a Monday night mash-up with a disco, and then they have bands on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Leverick Bay on Virgin Gorda has, on a Friday night, a fantastic barbecue and local band playing, and they have the stilt walkers, what we call the Moko Jumbies, dancing. And also every full moon at Trellis Bay we have a fantastic party which is celebrated by locals and tourists down on Trellis Bay at Beef Island, Tortola, and they have the Moko Jumbies there, and they have a big fireball in the water that they set light to, and yeah, that's fun.
So time it for the right moon.
Yeah.
When I was there was loads of bunting out. I think that was Emancipation Day or something.
Okay, so we have 2 carnivals actually. Yep. We have our main one, which is next week in Tortola, which is the first Monday in August, Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's a 3-day national holiday, and there'll be carnival all next week in Tortola. And then on Virgin Gorda we have a smaller one, which is at Easter, which is just a 1 day on the Monday.
What sort of things go on these places? These things?
Dancing, bands playing, lots of different local food and drinks to try. And the great thing about, because we are, practically crime-free and it's such a safe place, it's wonderful because tourists are welcome to join in, and they never would feel threatened. They'd be welcomed by the locals and get to really enjoy a proper Caribbean festival.
Is there any dressing up involved?
If they want to.
Yeah?
Yep.
What should I wear if I wanted to join him?
As little as possible and lots of feathers.
Okay, loads of feathers. How can the listeners find out more about the islands?
The best thing really is to call us here in the BVI Tourist Board in London. And there's myself and Lorna and Mia, and we've all lived out there for many years. We know it really well. We can help them put an itinerary together, or listen to what it is that they, what they're looking for, what their likes and dislikes are, and recommend where we think are the best places for them to visit or stay within their price range.
Can you just give your number out, please?
0207 355 9585.
Okay. Do you have a website as well?
We do. It's bvitourism.co.uk. You
can follow me on Twitter at holiday_hut. If you didn't make a note of the website, don't worry. As always, the websites for the show will be listed at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. If you've been to the Cayman Islands, or if you've been to the British Virgin Islands and you've got some pictures you want to share, please post them at the Facebook page. If you've been to Cayman Brac, I'll be very jealous because I've not been to that one, because when I was over there, it had been badly hit by a hurricane. I'll be interested to see if any pictures you took of that. So I've only done Little Cayman and I've only done Grand Cayman, but not Cayman Brac. And British Virgin Islands, it's just so pretty if you're going along the coast and you can see the other islands. If you've got any pictures, that'd be really, really great if you could share those. So that's the destinations, the tax avoidance destinations of the show done. Let's get on with the travel news. I'm going to start the news this week with another story about passenger bad behaviour on a flight. A man from Stratford-upon-Avon was bitten on his arm while helping cabin crew subdue a passenger on a BA flight from Dubai to Heathrow. Christopher McNerlin was permitted as a reward to sit in the cockpit as thanks for his efforts. He did need hospital treatment and the matter is being dealt with the Metropolitan Police, who said that a 21-year-old man had been arrested on suspicion of actual bodily harm and being drunk on board an aircraft, and he was bailed until late May. EasyJet has been criticised by angry holiday makers after they experienced a 48-hour delay on a flight from Fuerteventura to Bristol. Over 170 stranded passengers who were due to fly to Bristol were left stranded after the flight was cancelled several times due to technical problems and the lack of a replacement aircraft. EasyJet said it would move other flights around in order to ensure passengers could return to the UK, and plans to reimburse costs to two people who had to secure their own accommodation. A spokesperson for EasyJet said to the Bristol Post, "The safety and well-being of our passengers and crew is always EasyJet's highest priority, and we're doing all we can to look after them. We'd like to thank the passengers for their understanding and apologise sincerely for any inconvenience experienced." After rowing with her husband, a British pensioner had to be rescued from the sea after trying to swim back to a cruise ship after the vessel left port behind her. Susan Brown, who's 65, jumped into the water off Madeira after she changed her mind about leaving the cruise and her husband, which is a maritime voyages trip with Marco Polo, and found that the cruise ship had already left the port. She was rescued about 500 metres from the shore by fishermen who heard her cries for help. She had been in the water for 4 hours and was reported to be recovering from hypothermia in hospital in Funchal, which is the main city in Madeira. The pensioner and her husband, Michael Brown, reportedly had a row, and she asked to leave the cruise early and fly back from Madeira to Bristol. When she got to the airport, she had changed her mind and then tried to swim back out to the ship when she got back to the port. And Mr. Brown is thought to have left the cruise to be with his wife in Madeira. Well, that's the end of this week's travel news and the end of this week's tax avoidance special. I do hope that you found the information on these tax avoidance destinations inspiring and you go there to visit this summer or next. They are great places to go, completely different. British Virgin Islands for the scenery. I mean, the views are just breathtaking, and I'm not really a breathtaking view type of person. And the Cayman Islands is just great service. It's basically Florida in the Caribbean, but the food's good, the service is good. Everything's good, really. It's really worth going and is easy to get to from Heathrow. If you have visited either destination, as I mentioned earlier, please do share your experiences at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. And I do hope you can join me next week on the Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com, where each week I'm checking it out before you check in.